Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Purpose Pursuer webinar. We do this webinar once a month on the fourth Wednesday at noon Pacific for one reason and one reason only. And that is to help people who are interested in pursuing their purpose, not only uncovering it, but also living it, using it. And we, as Blueprint Process practitioners, we are here to guide you to your purpose by way of what we refer to as your blueprint. Your blueprint is a series of values and skills and passions and purpose elements that you have that nobody else on this planet has, suggesting that those tools are in your toolbox so that you can live your purpose. So we're here to help you uncover those tools. So in the process, you can also uncover your purpose. And I was shared a Dolly Parton quote today that perfectly exemplifies this. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me, but it's something to the effect that figure out who you are as quickly as you can, and then do that on purpose. Well, as we understand, if you don't know what your blueprint is, if you don't know what your purpose is, how can you do it on purpose? In Blueprint, we understand that it is happening in you all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. But your awareness of not only your blueprint, but also your purpose, it's like underscoring text or capitalizing it, putting it all in bold. So it's with our awareness that God can really fulfill our purpose in us and through us. So that's why we do these calls once a month. We're wanting to help in any way that we can those who are interested in pursuing their purpose by way of understanding and using their blueprint. So, to that end, I was asked the other day, what does it look like when you know and use your purpose on a day-to-day basis? What does that look like? And I, like Brandon and Bill and Frank, have a blueprint that's on my wall. You can see it there behind Brandon. We all have one of those that looks somewhat similar, that house our unique set of skills, values, passions, and purpose elements, one of a kind to us. I have that puppy on my wall, and it happens to be in my bedroom. And there are a variety of reasons why it's there, but one of them is when I go in the morning to make the bed, I look at my blueprint and I remind myself of at least one of my players. I do this every day. And when I think about that one player, it could be a skill, it could be a value, a passion, or a purpose element. I am infused with this reminder that my blueprint and my purpose is actually God working in me. It ain't me. Why is that so great? Because, as you can imagine, I am filled with self-doubt, limitation, lack of confidence, doubts, fears, etc. If I think that I need to do my purpose on my own, yikes. But when I look at my blueprint, it acts as a subtle and powerful reminder that it's actually God doing it in me. Now, when I have that shift in perspective, I am filled with a sense and a belief in that which previously seemed to be impossible. Because I know that I can do all things with God in me. So that is a way that I use my blueprint on a day-to-day basis, reminding myself that I don't have to go out and use my own muscle to make things happen. to identify and live and fulfill my purpose. I don't have to, on my own, go find my people, find my projects, find my opportunities, or even create them. It is God, the light that is within me, that is doing it. So that is how I use my blueprint on a day-to-day basis. One of many ways, in fact, in which I use my blueprint. So I would love to now open it up to the three gentlemen who are with me. All of them have gone through the blueprint process. They too, just like Brandon, have a blueprint up on their wall that they use on a day-to-day basis. They all, like me, have come to an understanding of what our purpose is. And we all know, based on blueprint principle number 4, that the purpose journey is an infinite one. So we are all actively pursuing our own purpose while helping others pursue theirs. It's a beautiful synergistic relationship. So I've invited these three dudes on with me today to help you, in whatever way that we can, explain what it's like to have your blueprint and use it in your purpose journey. So, Frank, are you up for sharing first? And of course, we've got a couple questions. You're on mute, just so you know.
I am
We have
aware.
You are aware. We have a couple of questions that you can use by way of sharing the power of Blueprint on your purpose journey, or you can kind of follow suit with what I just did. But regardless, whatever it is, we are open and ready to hear what you have to say.
When you were talking about the purpose, what was filling my mind was because I come into con I become get face to face with on a daily basis of um, you got to get this done, you got to do all this, you got to, and there's this breathlessness about it. There's this desperation about it. There's this um, my life won't amount to much if I do that. And I seem to be very well versed in that. I'm sure a lot of people are well versed in that. There's a strivingness. But when I remind myself of I'll say purpose, it's just the purpose out that's bigger than Frank. Uh, it takes my mind to this idea of, especially if we've seen people that have left this life, either you see them in front of you, or you walk in a cemetery, or you go to a eulogy of somebody, and um, you get different experiences from different people of what's going on there. And if I'm thinking in terms of that, wow, I got to huff and puff and I got to get this thing done. I got to get it done in time. I got to get it done just so it's like at the end of that day, when I leave this earthly plane, it kind of occurs to me. It's like, okay, what was that all about? And again, the idea comes flooding in as kind of, um, did I do my duty? Did I do my utmost? Did I get something done? Did I make my mark in this world? Did I publish the book? Did I build the business? Did I launch the program? And I think about that in terms of, okay, the person laying in front of us at the eulogy, very well accomplished. And it's kind of like, okay, so what is that about? And uh, did you make your mark in this world? My immediate answer is yes. Yeah, you made your mark, so to speak, in this world. The idea I want to kind of like summate this down to is that what was it that drew me to that task? And did I take myself to it with intention, uh, with genuineness of purpose, meaning, wow, that's going to pay me a lot. which is okay. That in the business world that plays into it. Or did I forward? Did I provide aid? Did I give comfort? Did I salve some hurt or something? And the answer I'm coming to was I don't know if I did, but I sure gave it a heck of a go. And as a truster of the all in all, the creator, it's like who needs no help, who gives me this life and all that's in it. It's like the word satisfied kind of creeps into the to the playground here. And it's like I didn't take myself, I didn't go at this in order to satisfy uh my power, my God, who's already satisfied. And so when I'm looking at that in terms of taking yourself to a task and doing it to your utmost, for simply the reason that this is the task at hand, this is the mission for the day. And when I close my eyes at night, and this usually works. When I close my eyes, it's like, and I accomplished the mission for the day, and I can look forward to doing that again on another day or something else. So again, that's kind of like where I was going with that. It was because the one way of looking at that is like, oh crap. See that's actually the summation of crap versus, hey, I have yet another day. I have another day to play, to go at it and bring a bring things into play that otherwise dealing with the oh crap way, I would never even venture with that. And it's like, okay, now I have a kind of a boldness. Now I have a kind of, especially in my world of, okay, looking for customers, looking for people that need my thing, and it's sounding a certain way with them or appearing a certain way to an audience or portraying myself versus look, just do Frank at the best that you can without these hindrances. And it sounds, don't worry. Don't worry about the hair out of place or the broccoli in the teeth. Well, okay, watch the broccoli in the teeth thing. Okay, but it removes a lot of this heavy burden of, oh no, I sent that out with a typo on it. Who cares? Oh, I flubbed up that message I left. That's nothing because they're the one who created all. He has all of that in hand, and what he brings about is what he will bring about. And what I get to do is I can look at that and kind of go, and I get to play in that. So that's kind of like that's what I had.
Cool, dude. As you were talking, I was thinking the difference between self-service and selfless service. Because the self-service is got to check the box, got to get my to-do list done. I've got to achieve, I got to build my business, get more clients, make more money, go, 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 do, do, do. It's very self-focused, even though other people are being serviced. But when our framework is there, then it is very quite selfish. So what you were bringing up, from my take is that when you infuse your day with purpose and you understand purpose, purpose by its very nature is selfless. So when we know our purpose, again, this is the power of knowing. When we know our purpose, it shifts us out of the tendency to be selfish and now gets us others focused. So very much appreciate the nod to
One
that.
other thing, the whole
Yeah.
self-focus thing, it really obstructs. It really clunks up this whole idea of turning my eyes out and up.
Hmm.
Because I can't. When I'm self, it's like, look, I gotta be enough, I gotta have enough, and oh, look where I'm lacking here. And it's like, do I really lack anything at all? I mean, uh, the guy who wins the lotto today, all that story, and tomorrow it's like, okay, it came, it went, it's the fortune was made, the fortune was lost. And it's like, what's it all about, Alfie? And it's
Hmm.
like, you have an opportunity to play
I love that
and
opportunity to play.
grow and grow. And the whole idea is like the whole idea of suffering
Mm.
and then looking at that in terms of like a crucible, like there's a forming that's going on there. There's a growing that's going on there. It's not aha, I have the solution to life now. It's like, no, see. So what's happening there is, had you not gone there, had you not spoke there, had you not ventured there, you would have never, who knows, the blessing that you did get by going there, speaking there, go, and this feeling that wells up inside while I'm doing is this, oh, oh, oh. It's kind of like going into that cold, cold water, stepping in deeper and deeper. It's like, and it's like, wow, that all comes from that different place, that heavy place versus what the heck? Just just get out there and dance. I mean, I remember being a wallflower in my early days. Later to learn that girls actually found me quite attractive. And here I was like in myself and going, like, this ain't never going to work. What am I doing here? And it's like, you should have got out there and danced. Yeah, but I cared so much about being or looking a certain way. And it's like, so.
Cool. Thank you, dude. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Well, listening to Frank, I actually have a question. I'm curious, Frank, the way you were talking about being able to kind of lean into you, do you, like Tammy's the quote from Dolly Parton. I'm just curious if there was any point or at what was the point maybe during or the time, when was the time during your blueprint process, maybe while you were going through it or as you've helped others go through it. What is it about that you think allows you to just do Frank, just be Frank, lean into yourself, your blueprint?
That's a great question. When you were asking that question, my mind immediately went to, well, you've tried everything, you've reached out to all of these other things. It's hard. I don't take to it well. It's like I can't remember how to be that way all
Mhm.
of the time. And it's weird. And so to answer your question, hopefully it gets to the point where it's like, look, Frank, travel light, relax, and be you. And don't worry about that because see how you've worried? Has it really added? Well, this is a biblical thing. Has your worry added anything to this thing? Well, I thought it did. Well, that's the deception. Because it's like, no, not really. Not really. So maybe to answer your question, it's like you get to that point where it's just like, what the heck? Just let it, just let it go. Again, we're tethered, if you want to use that word, by purpose and blueprint and a way to go, the way that I've gone, and a light that is coming to me, and a revelation that I have that is not the answer for you, but it is kind of a pathfinder for others to go like this, like I've done. Well, I think it's okay to do that. That's why when I'm being my purpose out there, and just being frank, I get these reactions that go like this. Well, it's because you said this, or it's because you did this. I began to feel that it was okay for me to say that or do that and go there. These things that I've never ventured into before. And the dreams that I've had, the visions that I've had, and how I've drawn closer to them now. They've actually become more than dreams or visions. They're actually happening. It's nobody, I never really thought I had it in me. And it's like, yeah. And now you know. And now you have that light, that glimmering. You've always had the light and the glimmering. But you've been so focused in on this. Man, is my life going to turn out? I mean, you look at people that leave this life at the very budding of it, and then you look at somebody who's very elderly, who's leaving this life after having fulfilled decades, and it's kind of like, okay, what's happening here? And so the whole idea is, what the heck? If it's in your mind, if it's in your heart, that's not your thing. That's a God thing, and do it to the best that you can, and leave the consequences to the one that knows, and the one that planted this in you in the first place. And yeah, so I don't know if I answered your question. Did I get close?
How was it? How do you feel about that answer?
That's the answer I got. I'm good with it too. I mean, it's like I don't. Also a good question. This explanation of things, and I get to the end of my explanation only to find out that the person goes, "I didn't need an explanation. I didn't need an explanation, but thanks." And here I am, kind of going, "Okay, that's because they can see it, they can feel it, and it's just like." Did you take notes, Frank? Because I hope you did, because I hope you wrote that down. I didn't write nothing down. They go, wow. They took away from it what they took away from it. And I'm left with, I'm good. I'm good with that. Versus getting off a stage somewhere where a coach says something like, "Oh man, you forgot to say this, or you forgot to do that." I didn't forget to say or do anything. I'm happy with that. And just leave it at that. Even my
Love it.
look there betrays me. It's like, no, I'm good. No, I'm not
Love it.
carrying some burden away from that experience. The experience that I had was I present? Was my mind on my purpose? Did I give it to God and let him speak? And just leave it at that.
Thank you, Frank. So, Brandon, what you got for us? In addition to those
Yeah.
great questions.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Well, what was coming up for me throughout is just the idea that when the more we lean into our natural selves, which I would equate to our blueprint, our unique blueprints, if we have revealed that and we understand that, we know that that is like us and with depth, self-awareness with depth. And um, in my experience, just all my time in the Navy, all the different leaders that I've been exposed to, the ones that stand out to me, I don't know that I could have articulated it at the time, but as I look back at it now, what really stands out is the ones that I really admired, the ones that I was very attracted to were the ones who seemed to just be confident in their own skin. They just weren't trying to be something or somebody they weren't, as far as I could tell. And they weren't acting like they had all the answers. They didn't necessarily know everything. They weren't necessarily the best at whatever they were supposed to be the best at. If they're a pilot, they weren't necessarily the best pilot in the squadron. They just were really comfortable being themselves and were able to then kind of recognize where they fit in the larger team, in the large organization. And they were really great at finding, if it was something they weren't great at, they were really comfortable reaching out and finding someone else whose blueprint, again, they weren't using that language, reaching out, finding that other person who they had the blueprint or their natural abilities, their values, passions, skills, purpose is what was needed in that situation. And again, at the time, I might not have been able to articulate it like I am now. But as I look back, to me, that was the major attractor for the people, the leaders that I admired the most, those who knew themselves and were very comfortable and confident showing up as themselves. And it didn't seem like they were ever trying to copy and paste or be someone that they weren't. And that's what I really wanted when I came to Blueprint. I wanted that, and at the time, I think it was, I want to know, I was very into Simon Sinek, Start With Why, very into that prior to coming to Blueprint. Just resonated with me, if you understood yourself with such clarity that you could boil that down to a purpose statement, a why statement, to me, that equated with what I've been talking about, that those leaders who just were comfortable in their own skin, they just knew why they were there. And sure, they had a whole scope of responsibilities. And just because maybe they weren't the right person to make sure this piece of the puzzle was put together, and yet they were still responsible for it, they just seemed to know where they did fit and who they could get, who and how to help develop the other person, the other people that could do that, or how to recognize somebody else's blueprint who would be a good fit for that piece. And to me at the time, it was just, I was equating that with, that's somebody who probably understands their why, who can articulate it. And that's what drew me in to doing this kind of work on myself, not as I wasn't a practitioner at the time, a coach or anything. I just wanted that for myself to lead my squadron. This was 2 or 3 months before I took command of a 300-person squadron, helicopter squadron in the Navy. And I believed in it so much that I wanted help with it. And that is what I've been reminded of so much here today, these first 30 minutes. And what I just am drawn to, why I keep coming back to this, why I'm so drawn to helping other people with this. Just thinking about, if every leader were able to have this confidence, to clearly see themselves and to be confident in leaning into that regardless of the situation, understanding the situation, understanding what might or might not fit, and still being confident in themselves enough to go into it, that uncertainty, knowing that they have everything they need. Imagine a world where our leadership, whether it's organizations like corporate, small business, large business, military, politics, imagine it's a couple pieces. Imagine those who are confident in their own skin and their own blueprints. And this is important when it comes to leadership, because leadership involves other people, involves teams, involves working with that team towards a common purpose. And so it's confident in your own skin. And what else have I been talking about? and the ability to help your teammates lean into themselves, and being able to work with them and see which blueprints are needed in which areas, and how we can all come together and achieve what we want to achieve. Um, I just imagine a world where there's more leaders like that, and man, it inspires me.
Mhm. I love that.
And I know you're actively working towards that. That is something we've identified as your cause or your objective, your why for while you're here. So right behind you, you have this inventoried list of the tools that we've identified in your blueprint. How do you find yourself using those tools and the knowledge of those tools on a day-to-day basis as you work towards this all-consuming objective?
Well, what you can't see, or you see partially over here, is my power. And I am daily looking at my tower, which on my tower statements like empower my teammates to tap into their whole selves so they can do the same for their teams, creating empowered, thriving teams that transform the world. I'm daily looking at that. And as I am looking at my calendar, so real world application, as I am looking at my calendar and the events that I have scheduled on it, the people that I'm talking to, the time I've blocked off for whatever it may be, I am reminded to just ask the question, how is that on my, I'm pointing to my calendar, how is that connected to this, my purpose? So that's one huge way. That ensures that at least I'm feeling alignment with what I'm doing on a daily basis. I feel like I'm
Mm.
intentionally doing it in alignment with what I believe I'm supposed to be doing. At, at the very least, it does that. And that gives you that gives me a whole lot of stick to itness when the other challenges of the world come in and try to kind of tell you maybe you shouldn't be doing this. You know, and those could be people or social media or news articles or whatever that know nothing about me, that have no idea what my purpose is. So why would I let them and those things knock me off course? It's
Mm.
that kind of confidence. And and guess what? It's scary to go against that, especially if you're in a position where I just made a major transition. I am doing this and trying to build a business. And I left a really nice, I loved my job in the Navy, and I had a nice salary for what I was doing. And that's gone. And so there's a lot of noise out there. There is a lot out there that is like, hey man, I got what you're doing here, but look, you could go over here and you could just do this part-time job maybe, or whatever, and it'll give you some income. And then it's like, well, how is that aligned? I'm not saying I won't do that, but it's intentionality. It's looking at the calendar, looking at the opportunities, looking at what's drawing your interest. There's something there. I'm not saying don't follow that. I'm just saying be intentional with what it is about that, right? That's drawing your attention. And is it noise and entertainment and something that would probably draw a lot of people's attention at first? Okay. And then how do you go a layer deeper? Blueprint player of mine, getting to the core, getting to the core of something, trying to see the principles at play. When you get to that, is it still attracting you? Is it still drawing you? Um, yeah.
Love it, dude. I really appreciate again that it's the combination of knowledge and use. So you took the time to identify the players, and you've consistently been looking not only at the players, but okay, what do these players help me do, which is how we define purpose, And why am I doing this thing? What am I going for? Which is how we define cause. So I appreciate how you exemplify that knowledge plus use equals fulfillment. And then what you've also talked about, and I know you do this on a daily basis, where you're checking in all the time. Does this help me with my cause? Does this help me with my cause? And if not, to the degree that you can, setting down those things which are not helping you towards your cause and avoiding the distractions from what we refer to as the doors and windows or the world, avoiding the distractions and the temptations that you were just talking about that are trying to derail you. Maybe not, they're probably not purposefully trying to derail you, but I absolutely believe that when we say yes to an all-consuming cause, the world does want to try, not people, but the world or the devil or whatever you want to call it, tries to step in and hold you back, get you to shutter your light, throwing all those things in your face like salary and benefits and notoriety, etc. So I appreciate the diligence that you're expressing by continually shutting those out and making sure that your activities are in alignment with your purpose and cause. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Bill, how you? We cannot hear your melodious voice.
With age, you always forget to turn off the mute button.
I don't think it's just with age, dude.
Yeah, well, it may not be, but it seems to be the thing that always gets in the way. Um, I guess the thing that came to mind for me was when I first started looking at this, I've been through a lot of different coaching programs, all very good and all very helpful, but I was still kind of on a glide path of more or less operating where I felt comfortable. And this kind of reminds me of when a person goes to learn to fly. They first learn by taking the plane up and landing it and all this kind of stuff, and they generally don't fly in bad conditions. If they want to fly in bad or unclear conditions, they have to become instrument rated. Blueprint is instrument rating for flying when it's not clear.
Wow. I got chills. Boom, baby. Tell us more about that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that would watch this would say, well, I kind of know, or I have a pretty good idea what my purpose is. I'm raising a family. My purpose is to make sure everybody's well fed and taken care of and educated and all that. And or they don't have a family, they've got a job, and they're maybe really good at what they do. And then there's some that say they're really good at what they do, but they don't like what they're doing. All these things are part of that unclear stuff that comes up. And as I said, with Blueprint, the other side of it too is when you learn to fly, you typically they don't just stick you in a plane and take you up there. You go up with somebody else. And you do that for a while. But in order to get your license, at one point, I think you have to solo fly. And then you have to rely on your training. You have to rely on all the things you know. And when obstacles, even still, without the instrument rating, you're just only partway there. And I think most of us are, while we have a good sense of things, when life throws you a curveball, and it could be anything from losing your job to losing a spouse for whatever reason, then all of a sudden things don't look so clear anymore. But if you know who you are and where you are and what you're about, it's a whole lot easier to figure out how to get on the right course again. And that's really all this program does. And it does it with assistance. You don't go this alone. The people that are taught to do this, as we were all taught to do it, I mean, the last thing you want to do is get in the way of somebody else's progress. So you have to know when to back down, when to walk away, when to kind of let them on their own. But you don't want them crashing and burning. So you don't stick them in a plane and send them up. Hey, figure it out.
That is an awesome analogy. What do you guys think?
I like it. I like how so many things came into my mind about that, and about being from the pilot over here, the officer,
Mhm.
coming from cadet to newbie to boot camp all the way through, and it's like you get to a point where Brandon kept saying this. I'm cut there. I looked at the people that are comfortable in their skin, and then he was talking about leaders, and the thought that entered my mind was, well, what's how do you know that you're a leader? Well, you turn around, there are people following. But again, that's not my point. My point is this: a leader knows where they're going, even if they don't have anybody following them. And so, being, in other words, the instrument rating and the look, put me behind the seat, behind the stick of an airplane or whatever. And there comes a moment where, okay, all the training and all of this and all the manuals and all the critiques from the person that's with me, they kind of like go to the side, and it's like, what are you going to do? How are you going to fly this thing? And the thing in my mind is goes back to being comfortable. Even Bill used the word comfortable. My comfort level, I wasn't comfortable with that. Is like the the comfort that person feels breeds confidence and safety. And that's what we're there are leaders. Everyone has something to contribute, but they don't believe that. They don't see it. They want to see somebody else. They want to see the person with the, hey, you look like you're comfortable in your skin, and I know it's not an act. Because that's the fear thing. Oh, is this just an act? Are you putting me on? No, because you're like this naturally. You go into a situation not bristling, but you go in kind of calm and quiet. You're taking things in, looking for the contribution that's already there, that's bursting, wanting to burst its way out. And it's like, yeah. So it's not critiques, it's not finger pointing, it's not judgment. It's like, let's look at what you got and develop it, open it up, unpack it. So, because there's a pilot in you, there's a leader in you, there's a contribution to be made.
What
I
I
love it.
loved,
Yeah,
I
please,
mean,
Brandon, go.
well, I'm a pilot, 22 years flying helicopters in the Navy. And so immediately I resonated, Bill. That was an awesome, I love that metaphor. And yeah, I'll just try to narrow it down to what is speaking loudest and how that applies to Blueprint and when you have a Blueprint practitioner with you. So I would learn to fly in different types of aircraft, but there was always two sets of control. In the aircraft I flew, there were two sets of controls. And so I would be in there with my the aircraft commander as I was learning. And I think the what reminds me of Blueprint the most is you are going to get into really uncertain situations, just like I did in that cockpit. Really uncertain. Can't see anything. I'm flying up, thousands of feet in the air, and I can't see anything because I'm in clouds, or the weather's terrible, or it's pitch black at night, or a combination of all of that, most likely. And I've never done this before. I'm learning how to do it. And I can remember just feeling, thank God I have someone in here. Even though I'm on the instruments, I'm at the controls, I'm putting in control inputs, I'm flying the aircraft. But man, at first when I'm learning, it's sure nice to know that there's somebody who has been where I'm at and has had a lot of experience in life or in that cockpit, and they're not jumping on the controls. They're not telling me what to do necessarily. I mean, at first maybe, but I'm talking. What's really speaking to me is the part where I've got the monkey skills. And those are just the control inputs and looking at what the instrument's telling me and being able to follow that, kind of like playing a video game. That's monkey skills. They're not doing any of that. They're not telling me to do anything. They're not on the controls because I'm at the point where they're just like, you got this, man. But still, I can't tell you how comforting it is to know that they're still there, just there, holding the space is how I like to say it. In the cockpit, they got controls. So I know they've been here. They're not jumping on the controls. I'm scared out of my mind by this situation. I don't know what's going on really, but I'm trusting my instruments. And they're not jumping on the controls and they've been through this. They're letting me find my way. It must be okay. That is what jumps out at me about working with someone on Blueprint. This stuff's all inside you. And you can go out there and trust in yourself, like in uncertain situations, new situations, complex issues. And you could go out there, be comfortable in your own skin. And there's a lot of people who do, and they never went through Blueprint. And there's a lot of people who seem like they can do that really well. But man, if you're uncertain and you're not doing that, you're not taking those steps, or you're thinking to yourself, God, that would be nice if I could just do that. If I could just show up like that. Yeah, I could see where that would just unlock so much for me. Fulfillment, joy, potential, however you want to call it. Wouldn't it be cool if someone was partnered with me, holding the space to allow me to explore that, and then to know that it's okay to go out there and like be me, and that I might not know exactly what's going on, but I know that,
Even somebody that's
yeah,
got the instrument flight rules memorized, when
yeah.
you're in certain conditions, I understand your body starts playing games with you.
Oh, yeah.
You think you're flying upright and you're completely upside down.
Yes.
And
Oh, yeah. That's
with that
very
person
real.
in there, reinforcing the fact that, yeah, you may be feeling that, but you're obviously doing the right thing by following the rules, following what the instruments are saying, what reality is.
Mhm.
In which case, you get where you want to go.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and in those times too, it's nice to have someone who can just ask a question or just, hey, remind you of one of your Blueprint players, aka an instrument.
Right?
Hey, your attitude indicator was huge for us. Your AI, your attitude indicator, not AI, artificial intelligence. Attitude indicator was the horizon in your cockpit. So I had wings on it. So you could fly and I could turn right and my wings would go. And so I could level them out and I'm level. And you get in a situation like you were talking about, Bill, where you don't know if you're upside down, turning left, turning right, or anything. And especially if you're new, you're like starting sweating a little bit, sweat's coming down. You're just like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm about to lose it. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, which instrument would help you the most right now? Attitude indicator. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm on that instrument. They didn't even tell me which one. They said, which instrument would help you the most right now? And attitude indicator, and I'm right on it. Okay. All right. What other instrument might help you right now too? Okay, wings are level. Oh, airspeed. Oh, okay, I'm a little slow. Need to nose over a little bit. Attitude indicator, nose over a little bit, get a little airspeed. Now I've got those in. What other instrument? That is what a Blueprint practitioner is helping you do. They're not if you're going to crash and burn, yeah, they may say get on the, or they may take the controls or get on the. But if everything's okay, you're just sweating a little bit, you're uncertain. They're going to ask, hey, which player do you need in the game right now? Which instrument would help you the most right now? Okay, you got that one. What other player may help right now? Because you're not totally out of it yet, right? What other player? What other player? What? And then you're straight and level. You're on the right altitude. You're on the right airspeed, and all of a sudden you break out of the clouds, and you can see everything again, and it's amazing. There's the runway. Nice. And now, boom, I can go land and whatever I need to do. But yeah, I love that.
Awesome. Awesome. Great analogy, Bill. And then it was so great, Brandon, having your real world experience in that cockpit in multiple situations to be able to really put the two together. Thank you. Ray, it's good to have you here with us today. I would love to hear from you. Anything that you'd like to share regarding what's been shared already, or something else that you would like to message to people who are on the other side of Blueprint from where you are, meaning they haven't started yet, but they're interested in a purpose journey and interested in understanding how does Blueprint work in with all of this. So whatever you'd like to share, we're ready to hear.
Well, I was curious about what Brandon was talking about, and Bill actually kind of touched on it briefly in his analogy. But I was thinking of you leading the way, and making those decisions to leave that nice salary. And you made that decision not in a box, you probably talked to your family about it and all that. And I was curious as to the support behind the Blueprint practitioner person that now I don't know how long it's been now, Brandon, that you made that decision.
I made the decision about a year and a half ago. I retired officially July 1st of this past year, 2025.
Yeah. So the nice salary, did it go away?
Well, I have a pension, gratefully.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
wonderful. But that's, about 30% of what my overall take home salary was.
Was. Yeah. And so the support that you're getting from your wife and all of that, I was wondering what that looked like. Something I've never talked to anybody about behind the scenes, what is the practitioner? You're leading the way, but is there support from behind?
Do I have support? Are you asking me like what is my
Yeah, like
support system like?
do you feel that lift um supporting you that this is a really good thing to be doing?
Mm, well, I have the benefit of my wife has gone through Blueprint with Tammy. And
Mm.
and so she knows what I'm doing. she
Mm.
she knows that I am following my purpose and that I am trying, to look for those opportunities that align with what I believe I'm meant to be doing.
Mm,
So
mm,
that helps a lot. That helps a whole lot. So yeah,
Mm.
she's incredibly supportive. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and has not at one time tried to suggest that it's time for me to kind of go find some other income, go find a new job. She has
Yeah,
not
yeah.
done that. But I can imagine though, I'm in a special situation because my wife has gone through Blueprint. I don't have to try to convince her and put it in her language and terms she would understand, like that she's been through Blueprint. So it's easier for me to just say, "Babe, this is my purpose and cause, sweetheart. You see my Blueprint hanging in the office. You have your own. You know what I'm trying to do, right?"
Yeah.
So that being able to have that common language, extremely helpful during this period of transition and trying to grow. But yeah, the support's amazing. And you brought up the practitioner behind, and what I actually started to think of was I still work with Tammy, right? So like I still talk to her every 2 weeks. I still have like my co-pilot. I know that my co-pilot's in the cockpit with me And so she, my co-pilot's not telling me what to do, and yet it's still nice to know that every couple weeks my co-pilot's still there, going through this living blueprint, going through this herself, and just reminding me that I'm not alone. And I show up here with you all, and I'm reminded I'm not alone. And there's a huge benefit there, huge boost of confidence knowing that I have that support and other people going through similar, different situations, but similar alignment with purpose. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. It was so kind. And I mean, to ask the question, and it just really exemplifies you and your blueprint that you care for Brandon in the way that you do to ask that question. And it was really cool. Brandon, thank you for sharing that. That was awesome. Brandon, you said something, and we're going to be wrapping up here. Brandon, you said something that I really want to reemphasize. You referred to it as a living blueprint.
Mm.
And that means the world to me because I really believe that it is. And it suggests what we know to be blueprint principle number 4, and that it is an infinite journey. So having that co-pilot, having this community where having the wife, the family that you do supporting you, plus the daily work is it's all of it together that enables us to keep an eye on that blueprint and watch how it's continuing to unfold for us.
Right. So, I gotta say that the whole idea with Brandon mentioning about his wife, she doesn't know about the aircraft. She's very familiar with the instrument panel. She knows that, and what that does is she trusts him, and that's what the thing is trust. And the thing is like your commander. "No, you got this."
Hmm.
It's not like, oh my gosh, are we going down? I wonder what that would look like. But again, the trust that's even unspoken.
Mm.
It's like, no, and for me to wake up every day going, I know what I've been entrusted with,
Mm.
and that's also a focuser. It's like, look, I think I'll go out and take up racquetball. No, I've been entrusted with this, and so it's kind of like this is an anchor, if you will. It's like, yeah,
I love that. An anchor, because what you've been entrusted with.
right.
It's very empowering, directional, all those things. Love you guys. Wow. Thanks for sharing an hour with me and sharing your thoughts with others. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Bill, Ray,
You.
Brandon,
Thank
Tammy.
you all.
And for those watching, we will be doing this again in February on the 25th at noon Pacific. Thanks so much for joining us.